Drive ignition.
This is Actar's Reviews, from anime to figures and beyond. Hey, this is Actar, welcome to another episode of Actar's Figure Reviews. Finally, it's here, in my hands, the Robot Spirits Robot Damashii Shinkiro figure. And boy, is this figure awesome. But before we take a look at why it is awesome, let's take a look at the box, because no figure review will be complete without the box. So the box for the Robot Damashii Shinkiro figure keeps in line with the previous Robot Damashii boxes, in the sense that we have the red Robot Spirits logo over here, we have the Shinkiro's portrait, and we have the Shinkiro name, and at the back of the box we see the picture collage of the Shinkiro in various poses, and all of its accessories and features are actually featured very nicely on the back. Over here we have a small diagram of the Shinkiro, and it actually points out which parts of the Shinkiro are made of which materials. Product specs, we have stuff like the height and the accessories and the features. So that's about it for the box. So without any further ado, let's open it up and take a look at the figure inside. And so here is the figure in its plastic casing. We will take a look at this in a second. I'll just move this out of the way. But included in the box is an instruction sheet. And this instruction sheet details on the functions and how to use and put together some of the accessories. And of course, the transformation guide to the figure. Yep, the Shinkiro figure does transform, but more on that later as well. And here it is, the Shinkiro figure in all of its glory. Zero's personal Knight Mare Frame, and one of the 8th generation Knight Mare Frames used in the Black Knight's army. And boy, it looks fantastic. As you can see here, I've already attached the 2 air glide wings to complete its float pack, and it looks simply astounding. I love the color scheme on this figure, I love the design of the figure, and I love the Knight Mare Frame as a whole. So before we take a look at its accessories and of course its features, let's just go through its articulation. So its arm can move forwards and backwards, in and out. The arm can rotate below the shoulder and at its elbow, and can move forwards and backwards. Its hand is on a ball joint. Sadly, this figure doesn't have a waist joint due to its transformation, but it does have a head joint. Its head is on a ball joint and can move left and right, forwards and backwards, up and down. Not forwards and backwards, but up and down. Full range of motion there. Its leg is fully posable as well, forwards and backwards, in and out, and it can turn slightly. It can't turn side to side at its knee, but it can move forwards and backwards, and once again, this is due to the transformation, which we'll talk about later. Now, its foot has 3 joints. The front of the foot moves independently, and the back of the foot actually moves separately. So we have actually 2 ankle joints here. The land spinners are inbuilt to the feet like all the other Japanese Knight Mare frames, and the wheels on this one can be spun. The wide base area of the feet is fantastic, because it actually means that this figure is very, very stable. You can just put him on my bed and he balances perfectly there. So let's get into the features of the figure. The first feature is of course its openable cockpit. Most of the other Robot Damashii and in-action offshoot figures share this feature. Now, unfortunately, there is no figure of Zero included, but you can actually take the figure of Zero that's included with the Burai Zero use type, which is over at the back, and the Robot Damashii Gawain, and we can just place him there. Of course, the figure doesn't fit because it's not made for this cockpit, but you can just place him there, and you can actually take pictures accordingly. Really adds to the play value, so it'll be great if you have the miniature figures of Zero to go along with the Shinkiro figure. Its main form of attack is its zero beam that's fired out of its chest. It is also replicated here as one of its features. So open up the chest panel to reveal the cannon in the middle. I've actually placed one of the accessories in it, and that is the liquid metal prism that can be used concurrently with the zero beam to refract the zero beam. So moving on, we actually have more accessories that the figure comes with. Let me just put him off to the side. And unfortunately, there are going to be some spoilers because the accessories are huge plot points, and if you haven't watched to the end of the second season of Code Geass, do prepare to be spoiled. So in the end, as we know, the FLEIJA was used. The FLEIJA weapon of mass destruction is used by Schneizel to dominate the battlefield, and Lloyd and Nina actually came up with a solution, and that is this. This is the FLEIJA Elimination device, or Lance of Longinus I like to call it. And not only do they include the fully deployed activated version of the FLEIJA Elimination device, the standby mode of the lance is actually included when it is attached to the Shinkiro in its vehicle mode. And yes, the Shinkiro figure does transform as well, and it actually attaches to the side like we see in the anime. And to do that, we have to add this little piece. We have 2 extra hands that are included, and these 2 hands are grasping hands. And this, and all as fans of Code Geass R2 know, is the absolute protection territory defense field, and it's the Shinkiro's main feature. Shinkiro boasts the highest defensive capabilities of any Knight Mare Frame in the series, and this is an exceedingly powerful shield, powerful energy shield that can just block about any attack in the series. So actually, to attach the shield to the figure, we have these 2 pegs that go into the 2 holes over here and attach to the sides of the figure, and it looks absolutely spectacular. And the Shinkiro's Hardron gun is also replicated on the figure, as we can see here. All you have to do is actually just pull the gun from the hand, and this is actually featured on both arms. So we reached the final feature of the Shinkiro, and it's most spectacular in my opinion, the transformation. The Shinkiro is a prototype transformable Knight Mare Frame. So the Shinkiro has a vehicle mode and is somewhat of a submarine. And to transform the Shinkiro, first of all we have to put his head in. Next we have to push his waist in. Turn the arms forwards. And pull his arms back, and we can actually see that there's a tab on the side of the air glide system that taps into the arm. Next, what we do is the leg. We push the 2 back parts of the feet in front, and we do the same for the other side. Extend the feet by pulling here. And once it's fully extended, bend the feet so that the wheels of the Knight Mare Frame actually connect into these 2 holes at the back. And here we have the Shinkiro in its vehicle mode. Its vehicle mode is pretty well replicated in its figure form. However, I'm not really sure if it actually follows the line art as closely as it should, but I have to say it is a valiant attempt, because as we know, the Robot Damashii series isn't a line of transforming figures, and the fact that they were able to incorporate the Shinkiro's transformation into the figure is astounding and phenomenal in itself. Now, if you have the Robot Damashii stage, which is of course the stand that we talked about, and this one actually came with the Lancelot Conquesta in action offshoot figure, we can actually attach the peg into the hole that's located below its air glide system. Here we have the Shinkiro in vehicle mode on the Robot Damashii stage. So in conclusion, the Robot Damashii Shinkiro figure is the absolute best Robot Damashii figure in my opinion to have been released so far. I mean, it is fantastic. You can practically recreate almost all of its scenes in the anime with the accessories that are provided. I mean, everything is provided. I mean, from its zero beam liquid metal prism to its absolute protection and territory defense field to the Anti-FLEIJA device. Everything is provided. The fact that the figure can be fully transformed adds to the realism, the play value, and the accuracy of the figure to the original character, to the original Knight Mare Frame model from the series. The articulation is astounding, the build quality is fantastic, and for those people who say that plastic models are better than the Robot Damashii line or completed figures in general, take a close look, get this figure. You'll be surprised by how much they've improved over the years. This is a prime example of a fantastic figure done absolutely right. It's a great figure. You need to own this figure if you're a fan of Code Geass, fan of Zero, or fan of mecha in general. You have to own this figure. Such an awesome figure, and the fact that the figure turned out so well is making me even more excited for the upcoming Lancelot Albion figure that will be released next month, which by the time of recording this video is only in 2 days. So, well, this is Actar saying, see you guys in the next episode, and this figure really deserves a 10 upon 10 from me.